Good morning. Welcome. This is Stephen C. And you are at Steve OC's on TikTok. This TikTok live, where each day at 11 a.m. Central Time, we review the daily lesson of the Course in Miracles and the corresponding portion of the text. Today is Tuesday, July 15th, 2025. And we will be reviewing lesson 196. We use the Course in Miracles as a framework, a platform for discussion and review of esoteric teachings, mysticism, metaphysics, spirituality, self-inquiry, impartial self-observation, enlightenment, ascension, all those juicy, fantastic, wonderful concepts and ideas that equal and come out to the transformation of our own consciousness. Transformation which brings us into a closer alignment, closer and closer, step by step, day by day, a closer alignment with our source, the truth within us, G-O-D, God, if you will. And so, welcome. Thank you for being here. Please share the live, like the live. Follow this account if you miss any of the lives, or if you are interested in probing a bit deeper, following up, continuing your studies, you can go to my YouTube channel. The link is in the bio. Or you can search on YouTube at Steve OC's, STEVOSEES, where the previous 195 discussions, the previous 195 downloads, transmissions, reviews have been uploaded to the YouTube channel. Over 165 hours of material of just this sort. So if this subject matter interests you, please go to the YouTube channel. Also follow, like, leave some comments. It would be appreciated. Your presence here today is appreciated. Please feel free to comment, like, and share. I like to begin each session by reading the introduction, reviewing the introduction to the course, using it as a grounding exercise, an opening prayer, and orientation to the lesson and the text, which we will be reviewing today. The introduction to the Course in Miracles reads, "This is the Course in Miracles. It is a required course. Only the time you take it is voluntary. Free will does not mean that you can establish the curriculum. It means only that you can elect what you want to take at a given time. The course does not aim at teaching the meaning of love, for that is beyond what can be taught. It does aim, however, at removing the blocks to the awareness of love's presence, which is your natural inheritance. The opposite of love is fear, but what is all-encompassing can have no opposite. This course can therefore be summed up very simply in this way: nothing real can be threatened, nothing unreal exists. Herein lies the peace of God." A wonderful opening statement, 2 paragraphs, 14 sentences, and the entire curriculum, really, of the Course in Miracles is laid out in those 2 paragraphs. The purpose, the function, the direction, the meaning of the Course in Miracles is laid out in that introduction. Take this chance to review it yourself, reread it, think about it, contemplate it, meditate upon it. It is a very profound statement and exposition of the Course in Miracles. So today we will be reviewing lesson 196. Everybody knows the rules. One lesson per day. Today is the 196th day of this year, 2025, Tuesday, July 15th. And the lesson for the day reads, "It can be but myself I crucify." It can be but myself I crucify. Let's see what the commentary has to say. First paragraph reads, "When this is firmly understood and kept in full awareness, you will not attempt to harm yourself, nor make your body slave to vengeance. You will not attack yourself, and you will realize that to attack another is but to attack yourself. You will be free of the insane belief that to attack a brother saves yourself, and you will understand his safety is your own, and in his healing, you are healed." This is a fundamental principle, fundamental proposition of the Course in Miracles. There is no separation in consciousness between myself and my brother. Nobody, nothing that I see outside of myself is separated. It is all one consciousness. And as far as each of us are concerned individually, it is all my consciousness. My consciousness at one, atoned with God's consciousness, the consciousness of the universe, a holographic portion of God's universe, God's mind. Okay, so there in the first paragraph, it explains the implications of that thought. To attack another is to attack myself. The false belief of the ego consciousness, the false belief of the little self, is that by attacking outside of myself, I am protecting myself. Not true, because thoughts do not leave their source. Also, by attacking either myself, criticizing myself, condemning myself, judging myself, I attack myself. I become guilty, frustrated, angry, disappointed. All of these emotions, all of these feelings, these thoughts are generated by an incorrect identification of the true nature of myself, capital S. And so the Course in Miracles is a curriculum, a system designed to help me reverse my thought processes, to help me to begin to think differently, so that eventually I can give up thinking altogether. And throughout the day, throughout the week, throughout the months and years, I can take time, I can set time apart. I will look forward to those moments in time when I can cease thinking and enter into a silence and a stillness that is outside of time and space, that is beyond human thought, that is the mind of God, that is the higher self, capital S. Second paragraph says, perhaps at first you will not understand how mercy, limitless and with all things held in its sure protection, can be found in the idea we practice for today. It may, in fact, appear to be a sign that punishment can never be escaped, because the ego, under what it sees as threat, is quick to cite the truth to save its lies. Yet it must fail to understand the truth it uses thus. But you can learn to see these foolish applications and deny the meaning they appear to have. A deeper awareness, clarity in thought and perception. When deception is presented, both externally and internally, more importantly, internally. When I automatically, through the conditioning of the world, seek to deceive myself, seek to prevent the truth from occupying my awareness, seek to defend myself against the truth, as the Course in Miracles says. Okay? We can learn to see these foolish applications, these lies, and deny the meaning they appear to have. Thus, do you also teach your mind that you are not an ego? For the ways in which the ego would distort the truth will not deceive you any longer. You will not believe you are a body to be crucified, and you will see within today's idea the light of resurrection, looking past all thoughts of crucifixion and of the big D, the opposite of life, the big D, to thoughts of liberation and life. Okay? It can be but myself I crucify. It can be but myself. I am the only one who causes the pain and suffering, the frustration, the disappointment, and the anger I feel. It is only myself. It is only my own thoughts that cause this pain and suffering. I crucify myself. It says today's idea is one step we take in leading us from bondage to the state of perfect freedom. Let us take this step today, that we may quickly go the way salvation shows us, taking every step in its appointed sequence as the mind relinquishes its burdens one by one. It is not time we need for this, it is but willingness. For what would seem to need 1,000 years can easily be done in just one instant by the grace of God, which is the miracle, which is the Course in Miracles. We are studying, we are learning how to let go of false ideas. Hey, thank you for the likes. Looks like, who's here? Thank you for the likes. Lisa? Is that Lisa? Thank you, Lisa, for the likes. Appreciate it. The miracle is a time-saving or time-collapsing device. We could save 1,000 years. Wait a minute, you say. I'm only going to be here 70 or 80 or 90. How am I going to save 1,000 years? Well, in some way or another, you've already been here 1,000 or more. To save 1,000 is to save them for yourself and for everyone else. We're all in this together. We either all make it or nobody makes it. Maybe not in this round, but eventually, certainly, because salvation is already complete. Everything is already perfect in the mind of God. To wander away is part of the dream. To wander off is part of the illusion, part of the simulation. We have gone nowhere. We remain at home in the mind of God. We cannot change that. Cannot change God's will. We were created by a higher power, by a stronger power. As Joel Goldsmith says, by a power that is not even a power, it just is. So the Course in Miracles as a time-saving device. The Course in Miracles designed for this culture, for our consciousness. We want it now. So Course identifies itself as a time-saving device, identifies the miracle as a time-collapsing action in consciousness. The miracle, you could say, we jump timelines, we take a quantum leap. All of that terminology that is being used today. It says it right here in the Course. It's not time we need, it is willingness. Willingness to transform our consciousness, willingness to surrender to a greater intelligence, a deeper love. So continuing, the dreary, hopeless thought that you can make attacks on others and escape yourself has nailed you to the cross. Okay, metaphorically, symbolically. The dreary, hopeless thought that you can make attacks on others and escape yourself has nailed you to the cross. Perhaps it seemed to be salvation, yet it merely stood for the belief the fear of God is real. And what is that but hell? Who could believe his Father is his deadly enemy, separate from him, waiting to destroy his life and blot him from the universe without the fear of hell upon his heart? That's the Old Testament God there, the God of punishment, God of law, lords of karma. But we are looking for a state of grace derived from the Holy Spirit, from the consciousness of the Holy Spirit, a state of grace, complete forgiveness, sinlessness, the consciousness of sinlessness. There have only been mistakes, which can be easily corrected with willingness. Paragraph 6, such is the form of madness you believe. If you accept the fearful thought, you can attack another and be free yourself. Until this form is changed, there is no hope. Until you see that this, at least, must be entirely impossible, how could there be escape? The fear of God is real to anyone who thinks this thought is true, and he will not perceive his foolishness or even see that it is there. So it would be possible to question it. Right? The subconscious mind, the unconscious mind, the ego consciousness repressing thoughts, feelings, experiences, traumas that perhaps we could not deal with, process at the time, and yet they're still there in the unconscious, and we will not admit it, still being driven by unconscious complexes. We have to be willing, as Jung pointed out, as Carl Jung pointed out, we have to be willing to confront shadow, to look at the shadow. Of Course in Miracles says, fear not. The Holy Spirit, the Comforter, is at your side. They can be looked upon. They can be processed. They can be forgiven. And that energy can be reintegrated. Okay, to question it at all, these repressed energies, these doubts and fears, which the Course in Miracles here is calling the fear of God, ultimately fear of retaliation, attack, and defense. To question it at all, its form must first be changed at least as much as will permit fear of retaliation to abate, and the responsibility returned to some extent to you. Okay, stop projecting. When we repress those psychic energies, they are then projected onto the world, onto others. Then we fear the world, we fear others, which ultimately the Course says is the fear of God, because way down deep in there, you don't believe God is helping you, protecting you, supporting you, maintaining you. You believe you're all alone. You have to defend yourself. And the Holy Spirit says, first, I'll defend you. Fear not. Until finally, you understand there is no need for defense. In a unified consciousness, in oneness, there is no need for defense. There is no opponent. There is no enemy. Okay, so step by step, it's outlining here how to walk yourself back from the edge of the cliff. Okay, we want the fear of retaliation to abate first. Return the responsibility for the fear to myself. From there, you can at least consider, if you want to go along the painful path of projection, of repression, of sticking my head in the sand. Until this shift has been accomplished, you cannot perceive that it is but your thoughts that bring you fear, and your deliverance depends on you. Our next steps will be easy if you take this one today. From there, we go ahead quite rapidly. For once you understand it is impossible, that you can be hurt except by your own thoughts, the fear of God must disappear. You cannot then believe that fear is caused from without, from the outside. And God, whom you had thought to banish, can be welcomed back within the holy mind. He never left. I would urge you to, if you have a copy of the text, go check out lesson 196 for today. Read this again, study it. A lot of important material here. Finding the true source of fear. Okay, I'm reading the Course in Miracles. This is the Course in Miracles review. I'm reading lesson 196. So you can go to ACIM.org online. You can follow along. Let's find lesson 196. I'm on paragraph 9. But what this workbook lesson is doing, if we follow it closely, it is walking us back to ourselves. It is undoing confusion, the crossed wires in consciousness, the tangled knot of thoughts, that the confusion that the ego consciousness, the separate consciousness, the consciousness that is not guided by an inner voice, by intuition, by a higher power. Okay? It is undoing, untangling, walking us back from that state of mind, from that perception, and it is leading us toward a clearer perception, a direct perception. Continuing, salvation's song can certainly be heard in the idea we practice for today. It can be, but you crucify. You did not hurt the world and need not fear its vengeance and pursuit, nor need you hide in terror from the deadly fear of God projection hides behind. The thing you dread the most is your salvation. You are strong, and it is strength you want, and you are free and glad of freedom. You have sought to be both weak and bound because you feared your strength and freedom. Yet salvation lies in them. Okay? Paragraph 9 there, a perfect description of the confusion. We're confused. We cannot hurt the world. Nothing happens in an illusion, in a dream. Nothing's really happening. Okay? It says there is an instant in which terror seems to grip your mind so wholly that escape appears quite hopeless. When you realize once and for all that it is you fear, the mind perceives itself as split. And this had been concealed while you believed attack could be directed outward and returned from outside to within. It seemed to be an enemy outside you had to fear, and thus God outside yourself became your mortal enemy, source of fear. Okay, now, here's the terror felt by the ego, because we're starting to realize what the true situation is. Gurdjieff called it the terror of the situation. Now, for an instant, is a murderer perceived within you, eager for your death, intent on plotting punishment for you until the time when it can unalive you at last. Yet in this instant is the time as well in which salvation comes. For fear of God has disappeared, and you can call on him to save you from illusions by his love, calling him Father and yourself his Son. Pray that the instant may be soon today. Step back from fear and advance to love. There is no thought of God that does not go with you to help you reach that instant and go beyond it quickly, surely, and forever. When the fear of God is gone, there are no obstacles that still remain between you and the holy peace of God. How kind and merciful is the idea we practice. Give it welcome, as you should, for it is your release. It is indeed, but you, your mind, can try to crucify, yet your redemption too will come from you. The problem and the solution are in the same place, within consciousness. Okay? We're all suffering from the same illusion, an illusion of separation. I see many people, someone every day on this app, I see someone every day on this app talking about separation, the illusion of separation. Most recently, I saw Peter Crone talking about it. The illusion of separation. You are not separate. You are one with everything. Would you attack yourself? Do you attack yourself? Do you realize you are attacking yourself? Do you realize that it has no power? Attack has no power. You cannot attack yourself. Nothing changes. You just continue cycling in the dream. Your true self is not hurt, harmed, or endangered. You cannot hurt yourself really in truth, ultimately. And understanding that, considering it, being exposed to the idea is the first step on the path of return to the source, to the oneness. Okay, so now a corresponding portion of the text. This is chapter 23, section 1. The Course in Miracles is divided into chapters, sections, paragraphs, and sentences. This is the 196th section, one section per day, one lesson per day, one section per day. And this is called the Irreconcilable Beliefs. Remember, we just read that the mind is split, believing it can attack outside of itself, that attacking or defending, which is just the other side of the coin of attack, belief that I can be attacked from outside of myself, quote unquote, outside of myself, outside of this body, is what the Course in Miracles calls a body belief, belief in the body. The body is not real, it passes away, it is part of the illusion. Cannot be attacked from outside yourself. The seeming attack from outside myself is originating, has its origin in my own mind, simply because I believe in the concept of attack and defense. I believe that attack can get me something. So, what of the great leaders and spiritual teachers who believed in non-violence, non-attack? Put up thy sword. Lay down your arms. Resist not evil. Jesus, Martin Luther King, Gandhi, perhaps to varying degrees, but the principle, the idea of dropping at least first physical attack, physical defense. See, it's an idea, it's a concept, and what was Gandhi able to accomplish? Whether or not you really think it made a difference historically, beside the point, what was he able to accomplish? He was able to magnetize an entire subcontinent and the rest of the world through his thoughts, which were translated into action. So this is chapter 23, the war against yourself. That is the split mind. And section 1 today, the irreconcilable beliefs. That's either one way or the other. It's either ego consciousness or the Holy Spirit. They do not cross paths. So the commentary here says the memory of God comes to the quiet mind. It cannot come where there is conflict. For a mind at war against itself remembers not eternal gentleness. The means of war are not the means of peace, and what the warlike would remember is not love. War is impossible unless belief in victory is cherished. Conflict within you must imply that you believe the ego has the power to be victorious. Why else would you identify with it? Surely you realize the ego is at war with God. Certain it is, it has no enemy, yet just as certain is its fixed belief it has an enemy that it must overcome and will succeed. Right? The ego is going to usurp, throne, the true ruling energy in consciousness is going to be taken over and dominated by a foreign entity. This is the irrationality and insanity of the ego mind, the core of selfishness and self-centeredness, the source of the idea that I can do this alone, that I'll pick my relationships, I'll decide what's right and what's wrong. Okay, I'm running the show. Okay, and nothing but trouble ensues, and yet still seem to side with the ego. Strangely, the Course says, insanely. Do you not realize a war against yourself would be a war on God? Is victory conceivable? And if it were, is this a victory that you would want? The death of God, if it were possible, would be your death. Is this a victory? The ego always marches to defeat because it thinks that triumph over you is possible. And God thinks otherwise. This is no war. Only the mad belief, the will of God, can be attacked and overthrown. You may identify with this belief, but never will it be more than madness. And fear will reign in madness and will seem to have replaced love. This is the conflict's purpose, and to those who think that it is possible, the means seem real. Now, this is the irreconcilable belief. Right here, be certain it is impossible that God and the ego, or yourself and it, will ever meet. You seem to meet and make your strange alliances on grounds that have no meaning. For your beliefs converge upon the body, the ego's chosen home, which you believe is yours. You meet at a mistake, an error in your self-appraisal. I am not a body. Ego joins with an illusion of yourself you share with it. And yet, illusions cannot join. They are the same, and they are nothing. Their joining lies in nothingness. Two are as meaningless as one or as 1,000. The ego joins with nothing, being nothing. The victory it seeks is as meaningless as itself. Okay, now that the Course has set us straight, it says, brother, the war against yourself is almost over. The journey's end is at the place of peace. Would you not now accept peace offered you? This quote-unquote enemy you fought as an intruder on your peace is here transformed before your sight into the giver of your peace. Your quote-unquote enemy was God himself, okay? As we identify with the ego, as we attack our brothers and sisters, as we attack the world, okay? We're attacking God because subconsciously we know God is everything. God is in everything. Okay, so your enemy was God himself, to whom all conflict, triumph, and attack of any kind are all unknown. He loves you perfectly, completely, and eternally. Son of God, at war with his creator, is a condition as ridiculous as nature, roaring at the wind in anger, proclaiming it is part of itself no more. Could nature possibly establish this and make it true? Nor is it up to you to say what shall be part of you and what is kept apart. The war against yourself was undertaken to teach the Son of God that he is not himself. For this, the memory of his Father must be forgotten. It is forgotten in the body's life, and if you think you are a body, you will believe you have forgotten it. Yet truth can never be forgotten by itself, and you have not forgotten what you are. Only a strange illusion of yourself, a wish to triumph over what you are, remembers not. War against yourself is but the battle of two illusions, struggling to make them different from each other, in the belief that the one that conquers, the one that wins, will be true. Illusions cannot triumph over truth, nor can they threaten it in any way. What you remember is a part of you, for you must be as God created you. Truth does not fight against illusions, nor do illusions fight against the truth. Illusions battle only with themselves. Being fragmented, they fragment. Okay? Anytime you see a debate, people arguing, all the silliness that goes on the cable news shows, start looking at them as if they are illusions, as if they are meaningless. They mean nothing. They do nothing. Sound and fury signifying nothing. Tempest in a teapot. Okay, conflict must be between two forces. It cannot exist between one power and nothingness. See how the conflict of illusions disappears when it is brought to the truth. For it seems real only as long as it is seen as a war between conflicting truths. Illusion meets illusion, truth itself. The meeting of illusions leads to war. Peace, looking on itself, extends itself. War is the condition in which fear is born and grows and seeks to dominate. Peace is the state where love abides and seeks to share itself. Conflict and peace are opposites. Where one abides, the other cannot be, thus irreconcilable, true separation. Okay, we can think we separate ourselves from God, but God does not disappear. We can truly, quote unquote, separate ourselves from illusions, and the illusions do disappear because they are illusions, and we are left with only the truth. Okay, so it's sort of a one-way street. We're heading in one direction. Conflict and peace are opposites. Where one abides, the other cannot be. Where either goes, the other disappears. So is the memory of God obscured in minds that have become illusion's battleground. Yet far beyond this senseless war, the truth shines, ready to be remembered when you side with peace. Choose peace. So that is the review for today. Thank you for being here. Thank you for your presence, the likes, the follows. Remember, you can go to the YouTube channel and check out more of this type of material. The link is in bio. Thank you for the rose. Yes, fried the snow. Thank you. Thank you for the gifts this week. Coming on strong. Appreciate it. So you can go to the YouTube channel. You can help me out over there. You can subscribe to the YouTube channel. Leave some likes, some comments. I am here every morning at 11 a.m. Central Time. Good to see you. Those who are returning, good to see you. Those who are here for the first time, your presence is appreciated. So peace and blessings. Have a great day. I will talk to you tomorrow. Peace.